What's up, guys? This is Vaughn from Simply Hawkward Games, and I'm just here to give you guys. This is my second episode of Fanboy Talks. I just wanted to give you guys some more information about myself, like what I enjoy to do. I love watching TV. I love playing video games. I love watching movies. I love doing all this stuff. But today I wanted to talk about my top five favorite anime series. Now I'm not including anime because it is animated, but I just feel like I'm not including that on this list. So it's going to be mostly like cartoons and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean there are a lot of amazing ones out there, but these are my top five. Like I could watch them over and over again. Or because they shedded a lot of light on things and like larger series, or just altogether I really enjoyed them. So I've got my number five is the Legends of Korra, which is technically the second portion. Okay, so there was the Last Airbender, which is the original Avatar, and then this one's the Legend of Korra, which is after all that has happened, it's like hundreds of years after. And I loved it specifically because it shed so much light on what was going to happen in the future of the original Avatar series. It showed like massive new cities, and it showed like what metal bending became, and it showed just so many things. And like, there's gonna be spoilers in this, so if you guys don't like if you don't like spoilers, make sure you click out. If you don't care, stay in. You guys should definitely watch Legends of Korra if you haven't seen it. But yeah, definitely some spoilers, so make sure you get out while you can. So now that everybody's gone, so I loved that in I believe the second or third season it brought back all the airbenders. Like people randomly started to learn airbending, which was fantastic because of the whole shift and everything. That was so awesome. I just loved that the air nomads became a thing, and then the season after that showed what happened with the air nomads, and they just started traveling and helping people. I thought that was amazing. They started wearing wingsuits, which was really cool because I felt like the air nomads were always really like they were monks, but they were also really underrated. Like everybody was like, "Oh yeah, I love the Fire Nation, I love the Water Nation, I love the Earth Nation," but nobody really liked the Air, even though he was the Avatar. It was like Air was mainly what I loved the most, and it was definitely because of the free spirit and the amazing bits of combat that they could do. And I loved that they went around just helping people and they used wingsuits. It was so cool. I love that one because it sheds so much extra. It sheds so much more on what happens after Aang dies and like all the characters, what they do shows his children and everything. So that was my number five. My number four is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I know that they kept it canon, so all this stuff that happened in the Clone Wars is actually canon. I love that. I love the characters that were in it. It introduced a lot of cool characters, like Cad Bane was an amazing bounty hunter. Like I thought that was really awesome. I mean, he was definitely a character that only showed up in a couple episodes, but he was I was a big fan of his. I mean, I was never really a big fan of like Boba Fett or anything. Not dissing the Fett, but like he wasn't around that often. Even though he is in the Clone Wars, I just loved Cad Bane. Thought he was awesome. I loved that it introduced a lot of cool characters and it shed a lot of light on specific things that happened during the Clone Wars, which is awesome. It told you what happened between episodes 2 and 3. A lot of people don't like the prequels, but if there was any part of the prequels that I liked, it was definitely the addition of the Clone Wars, which told you just so much. It showed you so much more. It showed you Ahsoka. It showed you just so much. Okay, I would hate to say so much more again, but it showed you so much more about the world than what the movies could at that time, or the movies have, because it's a series, it's not just one movie. It's like, oh yeah, there's a series of movies, but this got to tell you so much more about the world because it was a TV series, so it had each new episode every week to tell you something new about it, which I really loved. And I seriously just loved all the new characters that they brought into it. It was fantastic. I loved the little like rebellions that they had. I loved the stormtroopers that they had. I actually think I haven't watched a whole lot of the Star Wars Rebels. I really want to, but some of the stormtroopers actually carry over because they dig out the chips in their head. I think that sounds fantastic. I'm so excited to watch it. I'm just kind of waiting. I don't know why. I like to binge watch things, so I'll probably wait a little while for it. But that was my number four. Or I don't know why I held up five fingers. Five was Korra. Four was the Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and three is Justice League Unlimited. Now I love Justice League, the original comic, or not the. Oh, I love the original comics, but the original like animated series, that one doesn't make my list just because I felt like it was weird to have two Justice Leagues, even though happens. I really love the Justice League. The first one only had the couple characters, which is really nice. It had like the Holy Trinity and a couple others, like the Green Lantern, and you had like Hawkgirl. I loved all of it. But actually, what I was really going for was the Justice League Unlimited series showed so many more characters. It had like everything that I wanted it to be. It had like Vigilante. It had just so many extra characters, and I love watching that series so much. It's fantastic. It brings in Guy Gardner, which is, I mean, I like him more when he's a Red Lantern, but he's fantastic Green Lantern, even though he's like really hot headed and everything. Um, I just really enjoyed that animated series. I felt like it didn't. I can't say that it fleshed out a lot more about the world because the world is already there based on the comics and everything. But it just gave you so much more than what I could hope for the comics at that time. Just because, like, buying a comic book, you get like one story, whereas a TV series, just like the reason I love Star Wars: The Clone Wars, is because they could tell you more about the world because they had an episode every week. They had something new coming up every single time. Whereas comics do the same thing, but I could get the comic and I could read the comic and watch the TV series, and it just got so much better. I loved that TV series. I love how it had each individual character. It talked about lots of other characters like Supergirl, Power Girl. It just talked about so many things that I love. I thought it was fantastic. Um, my number two spot, I've said it before, I love Young Justice. My number two spot is Young Justice. I definitely think it was a really underrated animated series. A lot of people loved it. I hate that they canceled it. I've heard that it might come back. I'm seriously just like praying because I love Young Justice. I will seriously kickstart that. I will do anything because I love that series. I loved watching Aqualad, like Nightwing, Superboy. I really enjoy the like younger versions of these characters because I feel like they don't get as much poise as the older versions. Like I like Robin when he's younger. When he becomes Nightwing, I love him then too. He looks amazing in Invasion. Like they're all fantastic. But that was definitely one of my favorite animated series. I love the inclusion of Red Arrow and Arsenal in the same series. I thought that was fantastic how they did that. They brought in Blue Beetle, which I really enjoyed. They just talked about so many other things like Black Beetle. They brought in so many amazing characters that I loved, like Kid Flash, which is something that came up in my what was that? It was my comic book review of the DC Universe Rebirth. So if you guys haven't watched that, you need to go back and watch that. I think it's a good review. I mean, that's just me. If you guys like DC Comics, you should check it out. It's really good. Or it's not good, but it's there. Um, but I loved Young Justice. I love the characters. I love Calderon. I love Wally West. I love Superboy, which is Connor. They call him Connor. It's interesting. I loved his little like relationship with Miss Martian. I thought it was an amazing series, and if you guys haven't watched it, you really need to. I think it's still on Netflix. You should definitely check it out or buy it. It's definitely like it's a must buy for me. I just need the money to buy it because I'm a poor person. But I loved it, and I can't wait to see if anything more comes out for it. And my number one pick is, even though I said I couldn't have two Justice Leagues on this one, like top five, I have two of the Avatar series because I loved The Last Airbender so much, and I loved The Legend of Korra because it expanded on that. So my number one is Avatar: The Last Airbender. I loved that series. I mean, it was such an amazing series. It brought so many things of like I don't know, just mythology into the world that I thought was amazing. I loved Aang, I love Katara, I love Sokka. I especially love the when like Toph comes around. I love Toph, and I especially love the episodes when Sokka gets his sword. I think those are some of the best episodes there are. They're like way later episodes in like the book 3 Fire. Um, just he goes to they all go to the Fire Nation. He gets the sword. If you guys didn't know, there's spoilers by now. I said it earlier. You know. But it's such a fantastic series. If you guys haven't noticed, I have a little Appa plush over there because I love the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. I wish they made like Funko Pop for it. I would like seriously pay some big money for those. But I love that series so much. It brought so many amazing like storytelling. It brought so much amazing storytelling. One of my favorite characters was Zuko of all people. He was like a fantastic character. Like Sokka and Zuko are probably my favorites from that series. I loved Aang. I loved Katara. I loved Toph. I loved just so many other characters, but it was definitely Zuko and Sokka being the comic relief that ends up being like this amazing tactician. He's also just like this great warrior, and then Zuko just really wants to become like this his own man. I'm really excited. I'm gonna buy the books and read what happens with Zuko between the Legends of Korra and Avatar: The Last Airbender. It tells you whether or not he finds his mom. It tells you so much extra stuff that I'm really excited about. But if you guys like this video, make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Simply Hawkward Games, and that's about it for this video. I hope you guys have a great day. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you guys haven't yet, and just more fanboy talks. Gonna have some like gameplay. We have like movie reviews. We have so much stuff. So just make sure you guys stay tuned, and I hope you have a great one. Like I said before.